Hello, Jibreel. Could you please give an introduction about yourself?
Hello, everybody watching. I'm Jibreel. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Lithuania and I currently live in London. And I work in construction. I'm a devoted religious Muslim. I love my faith and I work hard. That's who I am.
Okay. So, first thing that stands out is I'm also Lithuanian and I also grew up in London. But the major difference is, what did your parents think about you converting to Islam, or were you always a Muslim from birth?
Yeah, it actually happened for because of a very interesting reason. It was actually Andrew Tate who showed me the Quran for the first time ever, and that's one of the main reasons why I got into it. But my parents were, the Lithuanian mindset about Muslims and the Russian mindset about Muslims is like terrorists, and that's all they know. But eventually, when I developed my character more, when I showed what Islam truly is, what it represents in reality, they accepted eventually, and you know. It turned out great. They started learning themselves a bit about it, so that's great.
Amazing. Okay. Because, yeah, the reason I asked is because Lithuania, especially, tends to be quite close minded to that. So, pretty
Yes.
cool that now they're accepting of it. All right. Now, how did you actually find out about the real world, and why did you decide to join?
So I joined 2.5 years ago when it was just in Discord, the Hustlers University, the original Hustlers University, the good days. But I joined because I was lost 20-year-old. I was in my early 20s. I was lost. I was, you know, one of those media consuming blobs of this world, basically. And Tate's message really, really resonated deep in my core. He talked to me as I was at that moment. And I immediately joined. I thought about it like $50, come on. I spend this in a week on some garbage. Might as well spend it on myself to step forward to something new. So I joined. For the first year, I was, here and there, doing whatever. Uh, it was not great because I was still lost. Didn't have many friends who were on that same path. But eventually, Hustlers University transformed into the real world, and that was one of the pivotal moments in my life because the real world became this platform, this amazing platform with all these amazing people, entrepreneurial mindsets, hardworking guys, and eventually I developed my state of from being a broken guy, broke, sad, lost, completely indulged in the matrix, to a guy who is took control of his time, found religion, found God, and pursued the path of entrepreneurship.
Mhm. Okay, so very cool. What campuses did you end up focusing on once you actually joined the real world?
So at the start, I was one of those guys who was looking at all the campuses, trying everything out, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I was just, I was the I was trying to learn everything while I knew nothing. So eventually, I came to copywriting, and that was probably the best decision of my life because it taught me a lot about marketing, about sales, about persuasion, about communication in general, what it is to uh, be a businessman in a way, to sell, to persuade people to actually step forward over the fence and buy. Also, the business campus where the Arno is the professor was very helpful as well. It gave me a lot of great perspectives on business and and, and communication as well. Yeah. So those were the two main campuses I focused on. Yeah.
And was construction something you were already doing before you joined, or something you got into after?
I actually moved to England roughly 4 months before I joined the real world, the Hustlers University in Oregon, but the real world. Uh, so I was already, starting to do construction. So for the first year of my the real world journey, I was just a construction guy, basically a labor guy in the job site. I didn't know much about sales, no marketing, no nothing. I was just working, right? But eventually, when I started to gain that knowledge about sales, about marketing, whatever, I started. I changed my position from being the labor guy to being the sales manager of the company. So I took over the whole clientele process from A to Z. So that's basically what I do now. I I talk to clients from the moment they contact us to the moment I come to their job site. I do a survey visit, and I send them the quote and close the deal. Basically,
Is it still working within a company, or did you build your own?
I work with my father actually. Yes,
Ah, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's his company, so yeah,
But
that's the
since it's your
story.
father, it's basically still a family business, so you're still a part of it.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
cool. And I'd like a bit more in depth then on how you implemented lessons, whether it's from copywriting or business mastery, into the business to scale it.
So the first things I were trying out were, you know, editing the website, the copy, whatever. And then the pivotal moment was when I completely redesigned the ads. Uh, the clientele flow completely changed, and then uh, all the knowledge that came from the real world. It's not like specific pieces of it. It's all together, just came into one place, and really helped me understand how the client thinks and how he perceives our business and people in general. And it helped me understand the targeted audience way, way, way much better. And when I started to talk to clients, when I just went to these survey visits and so on, I implemented these communication skills, these persuasion tactics, everything at once. And it really helped me to be more authentic. That's the word I'm looking for. Be more authentic with people. So I would come in and be the guy they choose, regardless of our price being 20%, 40% higher than our competitors. I came with the trust, and they trusted me straight away. All of those tactics came into play. So, yeah.
Mhm. And with everything you implemented, what would you say that led to in terms of income, whether it's monthly or overall?
Probably, probably the factor I realized that people only buy from people they can trust, because beforehand, uh, my father's company was like, yeah, it had credibility, it had reviews and whatnot. But when you come to the survey visit, that's when the sale is actually happening. And I realized that that's the most important part of the whole sale in my specific scenario, because people only buy from people they can trust. And when you come in to just do the survey visit and that's it, you won't, make small talk or make jokes or, you know, just talk whatever, and actually deliver a professional solution to them in an honest and transparent way. That's when the sale actually happens. Because I'll give you an example. Recently, I had this lovely old couple. They had they contact me they contact many companies to do a survey visit for them, and I was the last one. I came in, I was all charming, all smiling. I delivered the solution very clearly, told him exactly what we're gonna do, A to Z, and said like this, we can do this for you. Okay, boom. Oh, and I closed the deal, even though our prices were like significantly higher than other competitors. So you know, it's lovely.
Mhm. Uh, okay, so monthly now, with everything you implemented, what are you averaging in terms of figures?
Currently, it's around 25 to 30,000 pounds a month in profit, but we are on projection to scale up and scale up big time because I'm rebuilding the whole funnel of our business, and that that's going to bring a lot of more clients and a lot of more opportunities, and we will start building teams of uh, of workers so we can scale up.
But already very solid. So from copywriting and business mastery, implementing everything now led to 30,000 per month in profit is already substantial. And as you say, there's a lot more potential there as well.
Yeah.
So what does your father think about what you're doing? Does he know you're in the real world? And how did he react to you taking over or contributing so much to parts of the business?
Well, it's obviously a pleasure to do that because it's my parent. I love him to death, and I love helping him the best way I can every single day. What he thinks, I think he's very proud of me, because he saw me draining in that filth beforehand, and when I stepped in and became a G, I guess, um, it really shined in his eyes, and it inspired him to be better as well. Because we usually, as people, need that one person in our lives who gives us that little push, that little inspiration. And I believe that the real world really gave me that push towards becoming that inspiration for my people, for my tribe. So I'm really proud of that, and I'm very happy I can do that for my father and change everybody's lives, I guess. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, and now for yourself, how has your day changed? So, what does the average day look like now compared to before you joined the real world?
So before I joined the real world, it was hectic. No plans, no nothing. Just pull up the device, the rectangle device, and scroll, scroll, scroll. That's it. And that was life. You know, I won't get too much into detail, but there was some drugs involved. Not too crazy, but it was happening. And now, all clean, drinking my water, eating healthy, working out. My calendar is filled with all the good stuff to do, and I'm pushing forward. Yes, that's the difference.
Good. Okay, and what kind of an impact has Tate had on you? You already said that you found out about Islam and actually seriously considered converting because of Tate, and then ended up doing it. What about on your mindset or any other area of life? What would you have to say?
Tate is a very interesting figure. He is because just I've seen his journey with the real world from start. Because I joined Hustlers University when it had 2,000 people, and I saw how it just step by step became what it is now. And it is very interesting how it all played out. I saw it with my own eyes. The impact he had on me is significant. It's definitely a significant impact because he brought these masculine ideas to my mind. Um, he he thought his podcast definitely brought a lot of value to my life. Um, Built a lot of new neural connections in my mind that pushed me forward to think greater, to think more wiser, I guess. You know, if that makes sense.
Um, it does. So now I'm thinking, if you look back on 3 years ago, when you were in Hustlers University starting out, for anyone else who is now in that same situation as you were back then, what kind of advice would you give them?
If they are in the same situation as I was, I would tell them this is not who you are truly. This there's a better version of reality for your life out there. And if you're choosing the path that leads to nowhere, you're choosing to doom yourself for eternity. But there's a new reality which you can choose and which costs only $50, which can absolutely change your whole existence from A to Z. And that's really the advice I would give, that the personality you have, the traits you have, the flaws you have, it's not who you truly are. Here, you know who you truly are. You believe it. You see it. You see the vision. But it takes courage to step out of the comfort zone. I have a tattoo on my arm that says "Seek discomfort" and that's my main core of existence, seeking discomfort, because comfort is the killer of your entire vessel. So, if anybody's watching in the same situation, I highly recommend you to join the real world because it will change your life completely. From your mindset to your daily schedule to your business knowledge, everything. The real world isn't just a course. It's a community of men and women who are genuinely striving to become better, striving to reach that new version of themselves, the better versions of themselves. And my main advice for these people who are considering joining or are doubting if it's the right for them, do it. You have barely anything to lose. Barely anything. You probably waste this money on some garbage anyway. Might as well invest in yourself and actually make a change, not only for yourself, but for the ones you love. And that's what matters, serving the people you love.
Well, very well said. And now, speaking of that vision, what where do you see your life continuing to head? What plans do you have if you were to lay it out in the short term, medium term, and long term?
Well, obviously, I want to build my father's business to become an empire of this little corner of London. But eventually, I want to take this case study of building from ground up to this empire and use it somewhere else, and become the copywriter as Professor Andrew intended me to be. But that's the long term vision, just settling down, I guess, and doing it on my own. But for now, I'll just focus on helping my father, my mother, my parents, obviously, and my sisters. I have two little sisters that look up to me, and it's a great life. I believe I have a lot of ahead of me. I don't know what God has planned for me, but I'm very excited to fulfill His plans.
Eventually, after building out the empire, as you said, I'm assuming you'll want to move out from London, no? Because why would you want to stay there?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. This place is it can get hectic sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think we can wrap up there. Usually, I ask what advice you'd have to people who are unsure about joining, but I think you answered that already. Or would you have anything to add? Like, if people are thinking, what if it's a scam for $50? Yeah, what would you say to them?
Tate must be very desperate to scam people for $50, I must say. Listen, you should join if you are considering. It's a great investment for your own future. If you're not gonna like it, the all you lose is $50 and a little bit of your time. That's all you lose. Think about it. You could completely change your whole existence for the better, for your future, for your family, just for $50. It might sound good to be true, But the real world offers a very, very great and strong community of knowledgeable men and women who are seeking to be better. And that is very rare, honestly, in this society to have such a place of brotherhood, of a place where you can dive deep into knowledge and actually ask questions, and they're always going to be answered. It's a great place to be, and you're missing out. You're already missing out if you're not in there. And I really hope to see you inside, and I hope to hear from you very soon.
Okay, very cool. Now, actually, what's your real world username? If anyone who joins and wants to contact you or message you about anything.
You can find me by tagging me beer Noz, which is BER. That's wrong. um, it's beer
B
as
E A
a
R.
BERNOZ.
Yep.
Yes, that's my nickname.
Okay. So yeah, if anyone wants to message you about anything, they can do for the real world. And yeah, Jibril, pretty interesting story there because as I said, quite some similarities with myself as well. I was born in Lithuania, grew up in London, then absolutely hated London, and finally was able to escape. So yeah, now traveling around the world, and I'm sure you'll be able to do the same as well in future, or do whatever you'll
Yes.
want, which is the most
Yeah.
important part. But yeah, 23 years old, already on a really good path. As you said, parents are proud of you because of everything you've done, and the conversion to Islam really cool as well. That's something I'm sure, even if some Lithuanians would be considering it, it's just way too much of a stigma against it in that culture to do any like to really consider it properly. But anyway, enough rambling. Really cool that what you're doing with life, and I'm sure as long as you continue, you'll achieve great things. So I wish you all the best for the future, and then goodbye.
Thank you, sir.